Alright then, greetings there to folks in the internet today. Well, it's yet another bitch fest, or what has it, and for today there are some news I can bring you even more that'll probably make you even more disgusted if you haven't already watched the Reddits or haven't followed me on the Twitters or my Discord. So yeah, it's fun times, but yeah, so basically what I'm doing right now is traveling to my amazing mega ship right now, so I mean a fleet carrier, and I'm gonna sing for us without a good reason, and gonna fucking sing without a good incentive as well. So yeah, no. If you want to hear me sing, last year's April Fools was a wonderful one. Go check it out. It was called, what was it? Space Legs and Atmospheric Landings. That's how the video was named, and go enjoy that. Yes. Anyways, right. So yeah, essentially as I'm traveling to my mega ship, fleet carrier, I do have some news to share.
Salt carrier.
It's disappointment rather than that. Really
I'm pretty
is.
sure we could fit enough salt in it though.
Salt. I don't know. The word, the term kind of goes a bit different. It's pettiness, but this is just disappointment, straight up disappointment. I don't know. That's at least for me, you know. You know, salty is when I lost, being bad sport and whatnot else. But when it comes down to just fleet carriers, it's massive disappointment, man. And the thing is, we're just at least waiting for developers to release the further fuck-uppery, if you will, on fleet carriers, or whenever that's gonna happen. The beta is gonna be closing on 20th April, as far as I know.
Wait,
so
could I say that Frontier with the fleet carriers is pulling a Bethesda?
what do you mean by Bethesda exactly, though?
Fallout 76?
Well, which part of it exactly? Because there were many parts of Fallout 76, to be honest.
Bugs, shitty features that no one wants, unfinished, not caring about players. You know.
That's very general.
Yes.
That's very generalized, and it really doesn't belong to Bethesda alone, honestly. So
that's what they are known for, though. Now.
So that's why I was wondering, you know, if you say pulling a No Man's Sky, it can mean either two things, right? One is something, you know, a recovery story, right? Or it can be about the shitty launch, right? That's pulling a No Man's Sky. Fallout 76 or Bethesda, now those are kind of interesting ones, because again, Fallout 76 had so much just shittiness about it, just surrounding it. It was really hard to say what was that one thing, because it was basically a giant blend of bad.
It was kind of hilarious and sad at the same time.
I don't know about the sadness. I personally didn't really, you know, put much effort in caring for Fallout 4. So yeah.
Also a set point for Fallout New Vegas.
Vegas also didn't care for, weirdly. But then again, Fallout series in general, I just never really cared much for. It's not my type of a game. Again, being a first-person enthusiast, it's just a no. It's the FPS mechanics are so horrendous. I just can't play it. So yeah. But no, I mean, there are plenty of good stories in the third game for sure, in the atmosphere and just gameplay in general. If you get past that horrible aiming and so on and so forth, can be pretty nice. Anyways, right, so what's going on? Right, first things first, I'm gonna land on my stupid thing, and then, right, and then I'm just gonna just pull something on the screen, so you know, not to get distracted too much. That's kind of the point here. So yeah. So anyways, greetings to everyone in them chats, yes, who are coming in just now and all that stuff. Hopefully everyone's doing fine and dandy, and no one's too sick, or at least, you know, running about, no, not running about, sitting home, staying safe, you know, and all that stuff. So yeah. Let's see. Upkeep can bucket. Oh no, if you were to be allowed to write, you know, swear names and shit, you know me, I would probably write something absolutely horrendous there. Because, you know, why not? Even the word penis would be nice, you know, just penis carrier. Or something, I don't know. But
Excellent
regardless.
name.
But regardless, yeah. And of course, the patch 101 or whatever they put in, yeah, that still hasn't fixed the Super Cruise timers, because of course they wouldn't.
Fuck you. That's why.
Right. Or these are the real ones, which I kind of doubt they are, but well, we'll see. Regardless, let's see. Okay, things in place. So slowly but surely getting less colorful-ish or tinted, so that's fun times. All right, I'm near a black hole, essentially. That's where I wanted to put this fucking thing, but I highly doubt I will be able to. Yeah, get the fleet carrier close enough to actually see. Oh well. Regardless, let's see what's wrong with Warframe. Nothing. Well, a few things, but nothing too major these days. It's more what are they doing right. Oh, actually, no, it's gonna be very close to the black hole. So, yep, I see the Event Horizon-ish kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, it might be just a slight little. God damn it. There we go, that's the button. Am I able to... Hold on. Just go forward, you piece of fucking garbage. Here we go. And yeah, that's the thing right there. So that's best you can get. Oh well. Regardless. Actually, how much fuel did it consume? Let's see. Where's the fucking fuel? So that's 36%. Seems that you consume slightly less. Jump capability, yeah. So basically, you can still do the 500 light years with, you know, 300 something units of tritium within the gas tank, right? So yeah, that makes sense, right? Anyways, maybe not. I don't know. So apparently, you can make 3 jumps. I would assume 3 jumps before you need to refuel, so... Woohoo. And anyways, let's see. Druk, nice to see you in the chats there, buddy. Haven't seen you in a while, at least in Elite Dangerous, so what's up? Let's see, as for the rest of the folks... let me just do the docking. So I wonder if it... Wait, hold on. So yeah, I did 2 jumps. One to jump into this system, and the other one to jump from place to place. But where's the... Yep. No matter how many jumps you do, 1 jump equals 100 credit, 100,000 credit, what is it, the penalty? or was it the hull damage? Yeah, because of
it even
course.
gets damage, of course.
But of course, you're not. It's not enough. The developers think, okay, you'll be able to jump only, you know, 500 light years and only once every 2 hours. So first of all, fuck you already. When you jump, there will be extra cost, you know, for basically doing this simple activity. Because also, fuck you. Because why not? Why the fuck not? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm fucking loving it. It's great. Just it's great.
10 out of 10.
Yep. 10 out of 10, folks. 10 out of 10 design. Like, everything about the fleet fucking carriers just screams literally hate towards a player. sometimes you can hear me say, you can feel when a game, loves you or wants you to play it. The game has that, well, a way to tell the player, or yours truly, right, what it thinks of you or what it wants you to do or how it feels about you, right? And when there's a Witcher game, right, that the game that literally just oozes effort left and right. Elite Dangerous is complete opposite, essentially. Right. There is... Ah, yes, right. I could actually pick up one thing here. Carrier management. Settings, decommissioning. Has it changed? No, it hasn't. Alright, actually, it might as well stay on that fucking screen, because why the fuck not? Right, so... Today's news, essentially, is that a little bit calculations and a little bit of, well, actually not much investigation, just pure and simple calculations. I basically came to conclusion that decommissioning, those that don't know, if you go to Player's Handbook, and then read about decommissioning of a fleet carrier, essentially selling it off. First of all, is a two-pronged penalty already. First things first, obviously, there's the depreciation, as you can see right now here for the percentages, which is wonderful to know that, hey, you have to have sunk cost fallacy, essentially, just acting as your additional psychological manipulation in a game feature. Basically, the more you spend on a thing, the more important it becomes, and the more you have to upkeep it and just continue the cycle of more investment, time, credits, everything, and losing it is honestly becomes so dreadfully horrible that you just can't stop, or rather you're afraid to stop playing, basically. And do you folks right now want to feel afraid to, not play Elite Dangerous? Or do you want to be invited and encouraged to play the game? Positively speaking. I, for one, I much rather just want to go and, play games that actually want me to come back. I don't know about you, but that's at least how I approach these things and so on. But anyways, so the interesting thing that I didn't know values about was the value is further reduced by fleet carrier's distance from the nearest carrier construction dock. It is recommended that owners submit the commissioning request in a fleet carrier vendor system. Okay.
Ah, yes, because fuck you, that's why.
Yeah, that one's an additional fuck you, right? Here's the thing, right? On occasions, you hear a lot of people excuse many features in some very weak arguments, if you will, nonsensical even sometimes, and some try to make sense of them. But here's the thing, right? When it comes down to it, there are two types of excuses, right, given oftentimes for basically having a penalty for a game. People either go for the actual in-depth analysis and reasoning for why a game feature should exist, game design-wise, and the other one is lore excuses, which hold no value, really. And oftentimes, as a matter of fact, today alone, I've gotten a few, excuses here and there, at least people giving, like, but, leaving the megaship out in the black, somebody has to go and pick it up and bring it back, or, something like that. And no, that's a lore excuse, and that holds absolutely zero value or water, or whatever you want to say about actually how it's meant to be played. It's a game feature. All the fleet carriers is just a much large or upscaled model, right? For all I care, it could have simply a cube, unmatted, untextured cube, just four sides, fuck it, 5 triangles, and most of them missing, right? For all I care, that would be the model for this thing, right? And I would still, say that this feature is bad and wouldn't really make sense anyways, right? But anyways, that's the thing. And you know, okay, so if we deconstruct the idea here, so why is depreciation in the game, right? So let's think clearly, right? So what gameplay feature or reason would there be a diminishing return upon purchasing a game thing, say a gun or I don't know, a cosmetic or something, right? Why would there be something like that? Well, that would kind of make you sort of keep it, or at least incentivize you not to sell it. Because, well, what's the point? It has no value in it in you selling it in the first place, or because, well, there is value and it works in a way that would motivate you not to sell it, or there would be a reason not to or rather motivate not to sell you, or rather motivate you not to sell it. What the fuck is wrong with you? Sprechen Sie bad, yes, today? So yeah, sorry. But yeah, so depreciation would, yeah, I know. But anyways, depreciation essentially is just a simple way of by game design to encourage not selling something. Or in this case, because there is an upkeep with this depreciation works together, you see. Because there is the weekly drainage of your credits, right? There is that constant threat that, you're gonna decrease the price and blah, 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 or rather you're gonna, Drago, thanks there for your contribution. I'm gonna read that a little bit in just a bit, but yeah, basically, because the upkeep constantly pressures you to pay up, and there is features on this thing, right? Because of that pressure, well, you already spent 5 billion in this thing, and if the game forcibly makes you sell the 5 billion, where you only get back, your 5 billion investment, where you only get back a billion and 600. Yes, after 3 months, from 5 billion, you get back only 1.5 billion, essentially. Say goodbye to those 3.5 billion. Bye-bye. Yep, it's lovely, right? So yeah, essentially, you lose that. And there's that pressure to constantly pay up or upkeep it and just log in constantly. And these two things, because there's a threat of losing this big investment and basically lose a lot of cash if you don't pay that small amount of cash every week. And those two things work together. So that's one thing. But now, what would be the explanation that any of you right now in the chats could give for essentially players losing even more money if they don't sell these things back in the places that they bought them or a similar place, right? In these carrier construction docks or in such systems, right? What would be the reason why the game would have this feature in, right? I'll let you go for a moment there. Ghost, actually, if you have an idea on why that feature is in, yeah, go for it.
It's made so that you decided, maybe in Beagle, that you want to sell the ship. Then you have all the time of getting back to the station to rethink your idea on why you shouldn't actually sell it, because you invested so much in it already. So basically, it gives you that little time you need to rethink your idea of selling the ship. But it can weigh on you.
I mean, when you put it at decommissioning, it has a timer, so that's already there. So I wouldn't say that the value decreasement the further you are from civilization, essentially, is the motivator there. But I mean, that could in part ways also work as such a thing. Discourage explorers. Well, no, not exactly. No. See, the reason why essentially you lose even more money if you're not, in the station that you can buy other fleet carriers is that you constantly remember that, if I even want to get back something, I'm still gonna have to. Oh, this is mostly to do with explorers, to be honest, and so on and so forth. So explorers get the shorthand here the most, really. But yeah, it's basically to discourage players just saying fuck it. I'm just gonna get back at least some cash. You're still going to be invested, or rather, you're going to be still encouraged to get that tritium, to spend that cash, to get it back and play some more just to sell it. This is literally just them telling you that, oh, you also want to sell it? Well, okay, we're going to allow you to sell it and get back that measly amount of cash that, you still have left. But we're going to, well, just do this one last little bitch slap with our well, big or small, whatever, e-dick on your face, and then we're gonna give you the money back. They have to just get that last little bit. But okay, so from the gameplay perspectives, right? So from the gameplay perspective, this serves basically just that. Well, yeah, as Ghost did say, a deterrent from selling, right? So you think, okay, do I spend like 10 million a week or, and upkeep it for one more week or indefinitely, right? Or do I actually spend time and bring it back, spend those 2 hours? And it's another deterrent from players decommissioning it. It's playing that stupid role, indeed. And hey, if somebody wants to do it, well, hey, just dick them in the face, like literally slap them with a diseased penis in the face, and then they will get a little bit of cash back, whatever they have left, right? That's essentially the whole reduction. The further you are from any nearest carrier construction. Of course, there might be some other reasons, but well, at least for the time being, I'm seeing this whole just basically dicking you in the face and sort of encouraging you not to sell it and to constantly upkeep. So it goes in a cycle. That's the weirdest thing. You could actually, my God, if I had a fucking webcam attached to the fucking PC, I could actually do a whiteboard, literally just doing a game loop idea, right? So basically, you have the game loop of paying up every week. Just every week you pay up, and drain the player with from the cash and so on and so forth. And then basically, player, there's a actually, let's do the amazing levels of art. Give me a moment. Oh, God damn it! No, that's the wrong. Just open up the fucking Photoshop for fuck's sakes.
Aww.
Give me a moment. This is gonna be great. I promise this is gonna be fucking great. Let me just do my amazing art, right? MS Paint. Nah, fuck it. I'm more familiar and interested in Photoshop these days because it's just better tool. Why is it not showing? Oh, for fuck's. Dead Star, dude, appreciate. Oh, right, there was a message there. Seriously, right. So first message was from Drago. Since you seem to have missed me in chance, fuel usage on fleet carriers is non-linear in relation to jump distance. Well, yeah, that's about the same as in normal ships as well. And geezer, holy fuck. Keep forgetting. Anyways, thank you for subscribing there on the Twitch side. Really appreciate it in these amazing times and yeah, everything. Seriously appreciate it, guys. Anyways, still testing with a friend in exact month. Oh, Drago, if you actually have some interesting numbers about how much fuel you actually consume when jumping and so forth, do let me know, because I am actually interested in basically at least the general data points about the fuel consumption, because that'd be interesting indeed. And Dead Star, right? So blaze your own trail as long as there's an asteroid at the end of it. Oh my, yes, isn't that amazing?
No, you blaze it as long as you keep your trail on the way we want you to be. That's how it goes.
Right. Right. Photoshop. Let's see. Do we have Photoshop? Yes, we have Photoshop. Okay, so let's start with. Let's just go with 1,000. Right. So let's do a simple illustration of how the game loop works. How a designer probably designed this thing. Right. Just give me a moment. Yeah. There we go. Red color. Yes. Let's do a. Come on. Oh, gods. Lord, Dave. Smurf. Yes, thank you for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Upkeep. Let's see. Let me just. Oh, come on. Garbage. There we go. Right. 100. Right. So this is gonna be the upkeep. Actually, that's kind of too large. Go. All right. Upkeep. That's gonna be the upkeep. Right. It's gonna be basically a cycle since it's weekly, right? It's gonna be a cycle, and let me pick. Also, because of course, so essentially that's a weekly thing, right? So that's the upkeep, right? So each week you basically pay it, right? Actually, I should probably go with the red on upkeep, right? There we go. It's great art, folks. Just let's talk game design with amazing art. Just, I have skill. I have skill. Don't worry. Right, here we go. Right, so that's the upkeep, right? Let's say a player decides to sell, right? Let's say player decides to sell fleet carrier, right? Right, so player decides to sell the fleet carrier, but there will be a blockage. Right? So so to block the player from, selling, right? So let's call this stopgap, right? We'll call this the first block is gonna be do I God damn it, I can't write properly. What the hell? Piece of crap, come on. Crying out loud. I'm very professional at this. Just yes, nice cactus. Yes, it's very good cactus. Yeah, good. Depreciation. Did I actually write that right? I English no good. I usually use Google to depreciation. Did I write that? God damn it. Didn't write it correctly because of course TheYamiks right can good English. Depreciate, of course. Here we go. Depreciation is gonna be the roadblock. That's gonna be the first roadblock that will make you sort of think twice about selling the ship, right? So that's gonna be bring you back, right? That's one thing. Then there will be another roadblock. Let me just get red again. There we go. So if a player decides to go further, right? There we go. Still wants to sell. All right. Oh, God damn it. Okay, fine. I'll make it smaller. Here we go. There we go. Still wants to. God damn it! Write this thing. Oh, for fuck's sakes. And there we go. That should do the trick. Yes. See, I know a thing or two about Photoshop. Don't worry, it's all good. Okay. Right. So this, still you decide to still sell the, after that depreciation. You're okay with this depreciation. Fine. Fuck it. You still want to sell the fleet carrier, right? Well, there will be another roadblock that will make you think twice about, not selling it. So. Let me just do chocks. That's another roadblock. And let's call this one dick slap. I mean, no one's gonna understand one. So let's just go with distance penalty. Yeah, let's call it distance penalty. That's a pretty decent one. So that's a distance penalty, right? Well, that will still that will still encourage you, or that is designed to encourage you to bring you back to upkeep. There we go. It's all designed to bring you back into upkeep's cycle. And that upkeep cycle, I can actually, I'm gonna do a little bit further after that. So, so just give me a moment, right? So that's the distance, okay. And finally, if you are still okay with the distance penalty, Yamato, hey, thanks for the little thingamajig. Give me a moment. So basically, you're sure you want to sell it? Are you really sure? Okay, I'll give you 1 hour to make that's another one, right? So, okay. Thing is, reason why I'm not including the timer that they put on the fleet carrier, when you put the decommissioning thing on, is that in a way it's kind of a good, it can be used to sort of bring you back into upkeep as well again, make you rethink it. But these are directly made to do this. So yeah, could actually make it slightly smaller, and just to illustrate it a little bit different color, because that's what you do. You're professionally displaying things. Very, very professionally, yes. Go, come on, there we go. Okay, so these two are designed for that. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yes! Stupid fucking Photoshop, constant errors and what else. Distance penalty and depreciation are designed to both bring you back into upkeep's thingamajig, right? And finally, if you, decide to sell it, sold FC. There we go. If you're still determined, to sell the thing. Okay, finally, after all that stuff, after these two roadblocks, essentially, the developer, or rather the game designer, says, okay, fine, I'm gonna give you back some money. Fine, there you go. That's basically what you can hope for, right? And jokes, kind of like that. Arrows, kind of hard to draw. Oh well, there you go. Right. There you go. So finally, you decide to sell, right? So that's essentially the design idea that they probably had. And the funny thing is, let me just might as well just do a little bit. Yes, it's cactus, folks. It just don't worry about it. It's cactus.
With TheYamiks.
Still wants to sell. You still want to sell, and boom, then you finally get to sell the fleet carrier after depreciation hasn't bothered you, or at least you've decided, okay, I'm fine with depreciation, or distance penalty is also a thing, right? So depreciation is essentially the roadblock number one. The distance penalty is roadblock number two, depending on which one comes first. Whatever, both of them are there. And in the grander scheme of things, in the grander scheme of things, you essentially will be, well, all of this will essentially lead. Oh, for fuck's sakes, come on! Where is the thing? All of this, right? Actually, now that I think of it, well, the upkeep essentially. Yeah. Actually, no, that pretty much described there. The upkeep is gonna be bringing you to something not too bright, not too colorful. Okay, and increase that a little bit. There we go. And that brings you basically to There we go. That's the logical conclusion, essentially. That's how I imagine they write these things out, folks. This is literally the crash course in what I assume is frontier development's design meetings. Probably worse because they don't know how to draw like me, you know. So yeah, essentially the upkeep is making sure that you log in and constantly play the game, or make sure that the game is okay and the things that you have on your account are okay, and so on and so forth. So that's basically the end result and the main thing that they want you to do, right? That's actually the whole reason why fleet carriers exist at this point. And Joseph, thank you. Here's some credit support for fleet carriers. How about coffee support? Yeah, that sounds like a better idea and investment. I agree. Anyways, right. So basically, the main goal is to make you or force you to play more, and there you go. That's the upkeep's only reason of existing. Now, because that is so integral, because as you can see, it's so integral, in, you know, playing more or making you to play more, right? It's just not gonna be removed, which is fucking bad, but that's the unfortunate reality of things. I fully expect developers to never remove upkeep, even though I heavily suggest you, me, everyone to go on forums and let them know that we don't want upkeep. I still realistically say that, unfortunately, I highly doubt developers will actually have, first of all, balls, and second of all, well, it's gonna fit their design mentality or philosophy or whatnot else. So probably upkeep is not gonna disappear, and we're gonna still have to deal with this psychological manipulation. But anyways, so yeah, and the thing is, getting rid of that psychological manipulation is also a bitch, right? Just to get rid of it, either A, you completely forget about getting back any money, most likely. Depends on, of course, where it gets decommissioned. But yeah, there's just that. No, I'm working. Fuck's sakes. Oh, fuck off. Working. As in entertaining folks with my amazing stuff. Anyways.
Very amazing indeed, yes.
Yes, everyone thinks that, I think, probably should. Anyways, so yeah, essentially, just to get out of that psychological manipulation loop, right? You have two fucking roadblocks, which is one, depreciation in the fact that you're gonna lose a lot of cash if you lose the whole thing instead of paying that small sum every week, which in 1 year is more than you ever would spend on every upgrade and the fleet carrier itself. Remember, thing is, if you outfit your fleet carrier to the maximum, right? If you outfit it fully, the fucking thing is essentially gonna be, well, it's gonna be more, I mean, if you outfit it fully, its upkeep a year is gonna be more expensive than actually the fleet carrier and its upgrades altogether. Which is the more disgusting thing, and yeah. Anyways, so yeah, to get out of that manipulative loop, you first have the depreciation roadblock, and then the distance penalty. All are designed to make you lose cash, well, like in big portions, so that you are discouraged from doing that instead of losing a little bit cash. But in long run, unfortunately, that little cash just piles up until, well, oh, lo and behold, you could have bought another fucking fleet carrier, right? Which is disgusting, right? This is literally marketing. This is the levels of fucking marketing and product design, and, well, those of you that actually, you know, do study, I don't know, do economics and finances and so on and so forth, pretty much already see this shit unfolding quite easily, right? And then how it uses specific certain ways to manipulate the customer, which is us, in actually going into just constantly paying for it. This is also a way that many subscription services work and so on and so forth. You know, it's just. I'm talking about the fucking game, folks. Let's just take a moment and step back and realize that I'm talking about a fucking video game about spaceships and space magic, sort of, and galaxy with secrets and potential, you know, aliens and stuff and.
I don't think we had a secret.
And we're talking about fucking economy,
now.
and we're talking about economic manipulation of the fucking customer, right? How fucking disgusting is this? And I'm not talking even about the goddamn microtransactions and cosmetical abuse and as well, right? This is just fucked. That's the saddest damn thing. That's where we're at with the fucking fleet carriers, folks. But anyways, I said I had news. Took me half an hour or so to get to my news story, sort of. But yeah. Let's return back to Zagame. And, yeah, no, there we go. What's your language? You mean like shit, piss, cunt, tit, stick, ass, I don't know, ass, anus, penis, chode.
Ass, penis.
All sorts of things, you know, the best words, you know?
Yes.
So, yeah, just, anyways. Carrying on then. Right, let's carry on with the cunting things about this damn thing.
Yes, the great news of TheYamiks.
Right, I'm gonna take a break in a few minutes. Looks like real life is calling quite tremendously. So yeah, but anyways, so the news, as I did discover, or rather calculated, thanks to, you know, jumping to the system that I wanted to film the fucking fleet carrier in. Let's see, where's the thing? Go, yeah. So I posted this on Reddit. Now I did calculate through, you know, simple methods, how much this cost on distance essentially, well, further reduces the price of your fleet carrier or the stuff that you get back, essentially, right? So essentially you have 1 million of light year. So every light year is 1 million that you're away from this, from any of the fleet carrier construction systems, whatever, you know, places where they sell fleet carriers. So 1 light year is 1 million. So how far do you need to be to lose all your fleet carriers cost? As a matter of fact, that's not hard to calculate, right? 1 to 1. Simple enough. So calculate off. Let's go with a brand new fleet carrier, right? In 24 hours, I highly doubt you're gonna get quite far enough. Actually, no, I think you can get far enough to basically lose all the money. But essentially, that's
500 million.
But yeah, that's 5,000 light years essentially. That's 5,000 light years at most. And 5,000 light years divided by 500 light year jump is 10 jumps. In the first day, oh, actually, no, you don't even need to go 5,000 light years because the depreciation already starts on the first 24 hours, which is 95% is given back if you sell it that. But yeah, basically it's 5,000 regardless. 5,000 light years, which is 10 jumps, 10, 12 jumps or so, right? In 24 hours, you can immediately lose everything if you go too far. I assume, obviously, I haven't had the time, nor I do want to, sit here and jump constantly with a fucking fleet carrier. So that's fun. So yeah. Basically, 5,000 light years, you're done. You don't even go to the center of the galaxy before you lose, or could potentially lose all of it, if you decide to sell it, or you lose the access to it. So essentially, all the explorers are fucked if they don't log in, and let's be honest, a lot of folks just decide to, hey, I got, you know, real life stuff to deal with, and lo and behold, here we are. It's great. It's great. It's amazing, isn't it? I love it. I love it so much. Oh yes.
May I just quickly interject?
I'll take a break,
and
so
say,
guys, yeah, go for it.
yeah, I just wanted to note that we are essentially discussing fleet carriers for close to 3 weeks or okay, for like 3 weeks or even longer, and it's just went downhill every day. And every day when we thought we reached maybe kind of like a lowest state, nope. Turns out it was a false vacuum, and we can actually fall down another stair or flight of stairs to an even lower state. And I don't know how this will affect the game in the long run, but certainly it completely drained my joy for the rest of the game. I'm not going to buy myself a fleet carrier. Why should I? But the whole psychological manipulation, as Yamiks put it, is so disgusting that it taints the rest of the game, and it completely drained all the joy I had for it. And now I'm okay, guys. I'm watching the chats. Maybe a little bit feedback because Yamiks put me in charge, and I don't know what to do here. Ghost, what's with you? Yeah. So, what should I say? Oh, Sam Andrews, swearing. Oh, I'm terrible at swearing. Uh, um, yeah. Thing is, some people will say they will uninstall the game. I'm likely not going to do this. Oh, hi, Pilot. How about you come over into the Discord? Well, and Dunkle Aura, yeah, it shouldn't really inflict your joy of the game, but if you look at the whole larger picture, then you maybe see it. Yeah. Yeah.
How we doing, guys?
Hi, Pilot.
Hey, man, how you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Pilot, on a side note, because you were discussing this recently I think it was in the Space Waste news about voice acting. I just wanted to tell you that you actually have a great voice for voice acting, and it really fits your videos.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And I just realized that I hadn't unmuted myself on the stream. God damn it. Right, so what I was saying, when the real life calls, you get answer and all that stuff. And yeah, I is back. Probably no one missed me for some reason. I mean, who would miss this voice? Anyways.
We all missed you, man. That's just the way it is. You know, what would we do without the great and powerful Yamiks?
Well, that, you know, yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Yes. Why not? Right. So yeah, so get me caught up of what you murmured about previously? Hopefully it wasn't an
Absolutely nothing. You were in the middle of an
Nothing.
announcement, by the way.
Announcement, middle of an announcement.
You were looking at the
Hint.
codex. You said it's been a while since it's been an hour, and I said I was gonna, make an announcement. It took me a while to get here and hold on, and then you disappeared.
Okay, I'm drawing a complete blank right now. Okay, brain freeze today. As you can see, I can barely talk today. My brain barely works, and all I want to do is just, sit and play some, games that actually feel rewarding, rather than talk about the manipulation and psychological aspects of the game design that is used to basically exploit the people and the players in general. And here we are with Elite Dangerous and Frontier's amazing guidance and
Ooh,
yeah.
Speaking of garbage content and shitposts, how did you not like that Hitler rant?
What?
Come on, that thing was
okay,
funny.
out of context right away. Imagine this right now. Just Pilot comes in. Hey, how did you not like this Nazi propaganda, bro?
If anyone hasn't seen it, that Hitler rant video on fleet carriers, it's funny as hell.
Right, for
And
context.
the weird
folks,
thing
right?
is, as a German, it's I have to either mute those videos or somehow switch my brain into not listen to the sound and
I
just
guess.
yeah.
Yeah, right. For context, there, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, Pilot messaged me a little while back. That's basically today, right? Before I started streaming, with the link to one of the videos, essentially shitpost about fleet carriers. The typical scene from what was the movie though? Basically, where the Hitler, realizes, I'm fucked, essentially, and then, yells on everyone within the room and so on and so forth, essentially. And that meme.
I know that.
Yeah, that meme, right? It's essentially that thing, and that's about the fleet carriers that probably some people know. And I personally didn't really care much for it. And that's the thing. My opinion about that particular video, or that particular video style and what else is just, I don't like it because it's overused, it's boring, and it's just.
Dude, I haven't seen a rant video in 4 years easily.
Yeah.
The fact that
Well,
it's,
okay,
you know
that's
what?
the
I'm
thing.
happy it came back.
Okay, fair enough. But you see, in some circles, that video just floats about left and right in different types of manners and ways and versions, and basically over the time when you just even passively, like watch content left and right, these things just pop up, and I got the sensitive ties to that sort of a meme, and just. It's just like the same, actually, and thank you there, I'll read that message in just a bit. It's just that with every sort of a reused joke and thing, right, it's like basically a joke of the week or a meme of the week or month or what else, like for example, right now is, the popular one is the whole African, what is it, the coffin carrying guy meme, right, thing.
Watching people die inside, yeah.
That sort of a thing, and again, when you see it plenty of times, it's just like, okay, next. And that was my sort of perception. And Pilot comes and complains, I like it.
I did like it. I haven't seen that meme in a long time. I like that
Some
it came
people
back.
also like self-castration, but you don't usually talk about that stuff.
Okay.
Anyways, right.
Interested, Yamiks. The movie is called The Downfall, by the way.
Downfall, yes, yeah. The movie is pretty decent overall. I think I've even seen it. Yeah, I think I've seen it actually. Though I would prefer, this little wonderful movie with amazing ending called Inglourious Bastards. If you're talking about that sort of thematic.
I mean, if we're gonna rewrite history, yeah, hell yeah. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that is just great.
Yeah.
The end was, I literally saw it with me pops, and oh my god, the end was amazing actually. Oh, Quentin Tarantino, man, thank you for that
A
movie.
masterpiece.
Not,
Hey, you got
not
money,
a
by the way. You
masterpiece,
should
but
acknowledge
it
that
was
guy.
just wonderful. Anyways, right. So just to address a couple of things before we continue on. W15SKY. I even don't even lead speak today. Sorry, but anyways, thank you very much for your contribution. I really appreciate it. And Fleet Carrier is disappointing Tamagotchi. Yes. Yes, indeed. That Tamagotchi, I think, pilot? That was your picture or no?
No, I
No,
found
it was
on
somebody else's. Oh God, sorry if I don't remember the person's name. The person literally was in the Discord when we were talking about.
I sent that to you, you twat.
See, this is what I talk about. Just not remembering things. Okay, there are so many things that people send me from time to time. Don't
You could just
usually.
look at it. Who sent it to you, for God's sake?
Okay, within a day, I get so many messages, and these messages get shuffled around so much. Say what you will. I try to remember names, but again, see, this is the moment where you basically just freeze and there's... Okay, anyways. General Ghost can be credited for the Tamagotchi fleet carriers. So I'm gonna put up the picture and then let's see, there's another wonderful thingamajig from...
I didn't have a Tamagotchi. I had a Digimon thing.
Since
It's a lot more fun.
I guess. Thank you for your...
No, wait, not
contribution, Dave.
Digimon. I had the little fighting monster one. It wasn't Digimon. What was it?
Oh God,
Anybody remember?
I think I know what you're talking about. God damn it, what was it called? I mean, not the Pokemon, not the Digimon. Oh God, there was one more. I remember there was... describe it. Probably somebody in the chats will know.
It was a small little square brick one where you raised them, you could fight them with each other. Damn,
Okay,
what the
I
hell
probably
was...
have one.
Oh, look, it was a Digimon. Oh shit.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, and there was a big thanks also to Abysso Pelagi. Did I get that right? Hopefully I got. Well, thanks for the bits there as well. Really appreciate it. What was... right, Tamagotchi, right. Give me a moment. That amazing picture must be shared, and I'll actually share a link for it as well. Where... My God, again, this is what I'm talking about. My Discord is, well, barely kept up.
Should I send it to you again?
No, I need to find, first of all, our private messages in the first place, because I have so many private messages since then. It's just... there we go. Yes, I found it. It's perfect. This encapsulates basically the fucking fleet carriers in just such a wonderful manner. Oh, for fuck's sake.
You got to put it on screen.
Yes. I'm doing that. Keep your pants on, for fuck's sake. Keep your moment.
Why? I'm in quarantine. I don't have to wear pants.
All right, fine. I'm not wearing pants probably as well. I'm saying probably because you never will know. Ha. Anyways, right. And browser capture. There we go. I think that's the one. Yes. And yoink! That's the fleet carriers, folks. Wonderful picture. I think so. Yes. There we go. Let's give you all the link to this amazing picture. Feel free to use it wherever you want to. It's amazing. So big props to General Ghost there for this little gem. At least I got coffee. At least that's one positive thing for today.
Eventually, someone will come up with an LCD black on green, low contrast, pixelated version of this.
Oh Jesus Christ!
picture.
I could technically easily do that myself now. I'm professional with Photoshop, but
All right, you got this. I'm good. Go keep your stream and keep them company. Don't bail out again.
Well, in any case, let's see. And that was a big thanks to Pilot for, I guess, joining in for a moment there. So yeah, really appreciate it. And I'm in open, right? So that there is my fleet carrier. I'm in Beta Hydri. Whatchamahazards? No, it was Beta Hydra. Yes, there we go. That's where the upkeep can suck it. Is located in. It's gonna take you a little while to get to this mega ship fleet carrier. Yeah, there we go. As it's kind of far away from the main star. Right. So, anyways, any response by Frontier about the Braben video? Barnhard. Oh, you mean the dev diary thing? No, I highly doubt that there would be. What Barnhard is talking about here is actually, if you watched my video on the stupidity of fleet carriers, you probably saw the intro for it, but if you did not, well, let me play this to you then. Just, hold on. Yep. Picture, I think. Got the picture. There we go. That's the picture and the sound, so listen in carefully.
Bounty hunter and the benefits for it. And then the anacondas themselves as traders. One of the things that we want to do with the alpha and beta tests is to ensure that no one role is a massive generator of cash. What I don't want as a game like this is being forced to forever asteroid mine or whatever it is, if there is one way of gaining a lot of money. I mean, it's one of the standard things for games is to essentially encourage the enjoyment. You do that by making sure that no one role stands out.
From the lips of Mr. Braben himself, back in Kickstarter days. How far we have come in 8 years.
How far we have fallen.
Lovely. So yeah, that quote is gonna be used by yours truly so much. Oh my. It's gonna be next meme, basically. The 2.8% can go fuck itself. This is gonna be the next one. Well, it's not as, sort of simple to sort of put it on just one sentence and then meme it, but oh well, fuck it, Sorry, but yeah, it's just fucking hell, man.
Isn't that how memes work though? One sentence.
It has to be enough to hold an average person's brain. 5 words or less.
Technically, the term memes is a variation on the memetic, like on genetic, like gene. Very small atomic elements of thought which cobble together and then form a memeplex, and that whole memeplex is then something like a hammer or the idea of tool making. That's what the original term meme means, and then it kind of shifted in use, and these days in the internet culture we use it for short videos or images with text.
Yeah. Fun times. Thanks for explaining the memes. Yes, that's something that probably people wanted to know today.
Yeah.
Why did I sound sarcastic? Never mind.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my typical demeanor. Sorry.
What I'm just thinking here is we have been discussing the mega ships, fleet carriers, for over 3 weeks now, and.
Let's see. Yeah, I would say so. When did we start this thing? Yeah, pretty much on the slightly before April started. Yes, we got some information on what we would get. So yeah.
And it only went downhill from there.
Oh, it not only went downhill, it basically dug a hole straight to fucking hell and fell. So yeah. It's I mean, again, predictable pattern of behavior essentially is going to be following right now, right? So before the beta
it wasn't unexpected.
Oh, no. At this point, I didn't expect really that many people would be fucking disappointed or angry or whatnot else about this fucking stuff, which is good. That definitely encourages, quote unquote, encourages developers to change shit or basically get fucked even more. But we'll see how it goes. But, well, future is relatively predictable right now, right? Everyone is sort of dissatisfied, to put it lightly, about fleet carriers, and
lightly.
obviously, well, yeah, and then we are basically just asking for changes and so on and so forth, and developers will probably, quote-unquote, listen to us and change values, and that's all they're gonna do. I'd be
that's changing
surprised
the
if they
values.
actually change game mechanics, which
that
is
would mean a
something
code change.
I personally want to see. But yeah, thing is, well, this week I expect them, or rather, I assume that before the beta ends, as they said themselves, they would be releasing some, you know, news, well, not news, but changes that we could still test for the end period of the beta. However, the first thing that I got from developers was, or rather, yeah, the information that I got from developers before the beta started was, yeah, you know, they will not provide anyone logging right now into beta with extra funds to get the fleet carrier to test it. So that at least was the initial response, right? And they did kind of follow up with saying that maybe as the time goes on, we might give people credits, or imply at least that thing, which I still don't think that they will do, because fleet carriers are pretty much game breaking right now within the beta. Beta can't handle too many fleet carriers within one system, it seems. And basically giving everyone that 5 billion, or at least decreasing the prices for fleet carriers so that everyone can pick it up, I highly doubt is gonna happen. Nor do I think it's gonna happen for the beta that will happen on May. See, it seems that developers are content already with the information that they've gotten from people like yours truly, who has right now a fleet carrier, right? Well, that again, for May, I fully expect them not to also provide anyone with extra credits or discounts or whatnot else to acquire these things. So that's a shitty thing to do, because, you know, providing your testers with tools they need to test shit is apparently not something that Frontier wants to do. I mean, developers of Elite Dangerous want to do, but who knows? Well, regardless, let's see. Before the beta ends, essentially what I predict is going to happen is just they will decrease the upkeep cost, right? They will decrease the upkeep cost. They'll probably introduce the what was it? The universal cartographics, but basically just price downsizing quite a lot, or at least a little bit, and people will be happy. Don't be fooled, folks. That's all I can say, is don't be fooled. It's not about the price. The upkeep can be 1 credit, 10 credits, million or 2, right? It doesn't matter what number they put on it. It's, as I showed you previously, that amazing Photoshop drawing, right, of the game loop, right? It essentially is designed to do one thing, and that is, well, make players continue playing, or rather the people that has finally achieved that, you know, end game goal to continue grinding the game, to continue playing the game, logging in, and so on and so forth, right? It's not designed to drain you of money as a primary function. Its primary function is to just abuse you. So that is a shitty thing to do, and it will continue doing that. It's integral to the, well, design plan that they have, it seems. I would be, of course, surprised, pleasantly surprised, if they actually removed the fucking, you know, the, what was it, the upkeep, obviously. In which case, several issues are solved immediately. Like the upkeep costs and the costs in general, right? So, because here's the thing, right? Fleet carriers, essentially what they are. They are just massive credit sinks, right? The massive end-game trophies. And really, fine, if you just simply want that, kill over 9,000 enemies, or over 9,000 bosses within the game. No one really will care about that, because that's literally like just the end game thing that, you know, only the most dedicated people will really care to get, or 100%ers, right? Who play the game for that sort of a level. And that's really the only thing that people will, or rather, the only people who will care for that thing. And okay, well, fleet carriers as they are won't really provide too much of a benefit for the 100%ers, if you will, and whatnot else. But there are obviously differences between getting this massively grindable achievement essentially in a game instead of well, something that has actually additional function beyond the cosmetical appearance. So yeah, at this point well, in a way, yeah, putting it up as a super massive grind fest, well, that's, I mean, at this point it's already there, but yeah, not a smart idea in general. But even so, it just begs the question in just general sense. Do developers really think that if you don't grind, or if you don't have a reason to grind, the game's not fun and there's nothing to do? Is that... Yeah, again, that's how it feels, right? I don't know about you, but I ever since I started making videos for Elite Dangerous, I've had this massive, well, looming shadow over my head, just sort of making me think, do the designers really think that if you don't grind, if there is no repetitive game loop constantly, making you sort of return to the game, is that really just not enticing enough for a gameplay, right? Just so basically grind is the only gameplay that has any merit, and that's, I mean, that just ignores the fact that people are literally, there are plenty of people that go out there to explore, look at things, just entertain themselves in that sort of a fashion. Sure, you could use some game directions, like, a mission or a goal to accomplish and whatnot else that helps, sort of move players on the road to discover a gameplay for themselves. But it's just...
Yeah, but at this point...
Why put in grind so much? Grind, or rather, sorry to cut off, but why why to put in so much grind in the game, right?
That's the only thing they know how to
It's a lazy way to extend the game time. It's not engaging or memorable gameplay. Is that the sort of a game that they want to make? Anyways, okay.
Well, I really hope from the depth of my heart that with the 2020 update they are able to reinvent themselves. I don't have high hopes. I don't see how it could happen in the current state, but I'm crossing fingers that they get their act together and pull it off. But at this rate, I don't know.
As Scorpius already said, right? Frontier, the company, the game, just everyone needs a good win. Everyone would like to have a good win. Fuck, I would love to have a positive video about positive things and how you can positively use it for a game. To enjoy it. To perhaps make a funny video about or with it. Right? Rather than just sitting here, ask and just question the morals and fucking intentions of the fucking team. Right? It's positive all around, so why not? But no, instead we have essentially what is just the early view on a shitfest. Just literally early access shitfest.
I would like to make a hypothetical suggestion until the 2020 update, if somebody of Frontier is watching. Don't know.
Yeah, right. They literally disappear as soon as you say word cunt. So yeah, no Dev is watching, sorry.
Got a phone call. Hold on.
Alright, I'll continue then, let me know when you're back. Yeah, it's just... It seems that they're only, rather, the company's mentality, or at least the team designers, well, I don't know, producers or game directors or whoever's in charge, basically management, only sees grind as the most efficient and the best way to drive player engagement. Literally. That's designed by boardrooms. Not even no. These days, you think of typical corporately, cynically designed games. You think of something like EA, right? And so on and so forth. But even they know, literally, that you have to put in something rewarding and not just put in hours upon hours of time gates or, time gates, penalties, and fucking non-rewarding shit. Or no meaning, as a matter of fact. And even EA knows this. For fuck's sakes. Also, yes, I see it. It's just... It's kind of weird. I mean, sure, yeah, you can say that in a way that Frontier as a company has been basically never, aware of the fact that there are other games that exist and seem to live like Nintendo in its own vacuum. But
I honestly think that the problem with Elite's development is that everyone basically, for most of Elite's development time, went like, Frontier can do no wrong. We shall not hurt the little baby Frontier.
Oh, that's Star Citizen.
It's also Frontier.
I mean, obviously there are hardcore fanboys and left and right and whatnot else, people that literally just think like that. There's, you can't, or they can't do nothing wrong. Let's give it a chance. Oh, come on, let's give it a chance. And fair enough. All right. Well, you're saying that, but realistically speaking, you have bias, and well, I do have my biases as well. Though my biases are, that Python. My biases are driven by, history and facts and observations of the past. That's the thing. When I think of, No Man's Sky, right? For example, right? Immediately my opinion back in the day was like, oh my god, the fucking assholes are still doing something. Why they just don't give up? Like, you fucked up so hard you can't recover. And over time, just the fact that they did put in effort and just, show that they can do good changed my mind. Pure and simple. And now I literally say that No Man's Sky is a good game. There are issues, sure, and plenty. As a matter of fact, the living ship, to acquire living ship, it has shit tons of, as I said, time gates. Literally, you have to wait 24 hours between stages, and there are like 6 of them at least, and multiple things. And of course, that is intended as an endgame thing as well, but it's stupid, regardless. Before that, you had the fucking Beyond update and Synthesis and what else, and many other little things that, okay, fine, you have that just shitty mechanic that doesn't really make sense and is quite exploitative as well in some ways. It's nowhere near the levels of this shit.
Indeed.
So yeah, you can change the mind, and the history draws also that obvious comparisons too. And No Man's Sky, as I said, I looked at it from the past perspective, right? And thinking, okay, right, on their launch they massively lied about things they cannot be trusted at all. And when they don't ever really promise anything. If they ever had a press release, promising something, I would immediately say bullshit back in the day, right? Just, that's garbage. Don't trust these people. But instead of that, what they did was just release updates, right? And these updates were really, really good. And at that point, when you see the fucking result, right, when it actually works and does things, it's like, I can't contest it. like what kind of a fool would contest that, right? And then the thing is, like it or not, No Man's Sky is just a success story. That's a good comparison there. Of course, if I really wanted to just show straight up just complete success story, fucking Warframe is a great example, right? And a few other games that just show how things can be done and must be done. Yeah, but anyways. There we go. Perfect timing.
So, my suggestion, until the 2020 update hits late this year, hopefully, completely ignore everything that has been done with fleet carriers so far. Just make fleet carriers, hold on, make the upfront cost for a fleet carrier 1 billion, fully equip it with all services in that cost, no upkeep costs, and keep it that way until the next update comes, just so that people can play with the carriers, see how they work, and then for the next great update, change the mechanics. But just give people the fleet carriers at a very cheap price comparatively, with no downsides, with no upkeep, just for them to give them something different until the new update arrives.
Sounds like effort to me.
Sure, generally speaking, right? So, if they took out upkeep, for me, that is the biggest issue, literally. It would solve multiple problems and so on and so forth. At that point, when, you take out the upkeep and, doesn't have penalty systems, as a matter of fact, the decommissioning also should be changed to a typical ship selling system, where basically just, you get back, what was it, 85%, like normal ships, right? You get back like 85% of your cash when you sell or decommission the fleet carrier. That's it. It doesn't have extra penalties for having had the fucking thing for so long or long enough, or having it too far away. Just sell it immediately. Done. All right. That's okay. At that point, you can really put whatever price you fucking want. For all I care, you can put in 100 billion. Because it literally is meant as that super unachievable or achievable end of goals, right? That maybe one or two people will have ever, right? Fine, fuck it. Have that. As long as it's all, positive and doesn't really, have this absolutely negative connotation. And feeling and what else you want to put on it, right? As long as it doesn't have that, well, you can put whatever number you want on it. And of course, I'm still gonna, parody the fact that, it costs so much money, but really, it's just done for laughs, because, fuck it. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't, make you just want to slit your wrists. So,
honestly,
yeah.
the fuel cost in itself is enough upkeep personally. We don't need extra upkeep on top of that.
It's just so many fucking questions of why, essentially. But yeah, fleet carrier is amazing. It's just for all we bitch and so on and so forth, it's really, for me, have shown, the general disconnect. Frankly, the biggest, really saddest thing out of fucking fleet carriers is just the absolute shitfest that it is, and the general disconnect the developers have shown of their own community, of their own perception of what you as a player, should feel, do, or perceive the game as. At this point, what they're literally saying, well, at least in my mind, right? So what the game is telling me right now is just that you have to have the game as a, your constant grind, otherwise it's gonna penalize you. And I'm just thinking, is that really what the developers think of me? If I don't play their game, I should be punished?
And you should
no,
enjoy.
I much rather go and play a game that punishes me for not knowing its controls, like, I don't know, actually, yesterday I was playing Cuphead. That's a wonderful game. Like, honestly, beautiful, wonderfully working game. Think of it as a platformer, 2D, wonderfully looking, cartoonish, literally, Dark Souls. Just boss battles, and that's about it, for the most part. It's wonderful. That game punishes you for just not knowing the game's features or not, knowing how to play it, but that's it. It rewards you in a few places as well, as a matter of fact. But Elite has this constant, as I said, looming shadow over your head, telling you just, hey, how about you? How about you come and grind me like a pole? Oh my, yes, be my stripper. Please grind me. Oh yes. That sort of a thing. Fuck that. No. back in the day, it was basically in the massive prices and the lack of, well, ability to earn credits, right? These days, you can feel that less because of, again, mining and so on and so forth, and somebody's getting shot. Anyways, but yeah, back in the day, it felt quite a bit more. I don't know, for some reason. Maybe it was because I was newer to the game. I don't know. Maybe I just investigated a bit more. But regardless, it's even back in the day, right? So the 200 billion credits, the 140 billion, fucking millions of just credits for a ship, right? And to fully upgrade it and what else, you had to spend even more cash and so on and so forth. And no one had cash. The game itself didn't want to, you know, reward you enough. And then it was pretty bad, but I mean, yeah, okay. As somebody who wanted to get every ship, yeah, okay, that was a grind for me. It felt like. And then for the rest of folks that, you know, didn't really care for grinding, okay, it didn't really matter much. But now it's just, not only is there as a big sort of top-notch goal that literally just tells you, okay, so the end of the game, you know, to get the biggest, baddest fucking thing in the game, which is usually associated with the end game goals, right? So the biggest, baddest things, you know, the power creep and what else. It costs so much credits, and obviously because there is that vacuum or that hole to fill, right? Well, obviously that would be sort of thought of as the end game goal, or a goal in general that you eventually would fulfill. And as a matter of fact, that's a good point there as well, right? Do we really need another hole to fill? Elite is full of holes, right? I don't need another fucking glory hole to fucking stick my dick in or something. I'm gonna get, you know, what space transmitted diseases and what it does, you know, that bullshit.
There are only so many holes a Swiss cheese can hold.
Indeed, that is a true statement there, yes. So, it's just a lot of fucking bullshit that's going on around almost said fucking things. It's really dangerous.
Do not say dangerous.
And that's the thing, in a way, the designers or managers and so on and so forth constantly think that, hey, because there has to, or rather, because there's no quote-unquote hole to fill for the end game players, you know, the players like, oh, TheYamiks, he has a lot of cash, right? So he has no hole to fill anymore, so he literally doesn't have anything else to do in the game, and he will stop playing, which in a way will be true, right? Because, oh, well, hey, I don't have anything else to buy. I bought everything in the game. Well, what now? It's just...
have fun.
Yeah, exactly. See, the thing is, just because the grind has ended, doesn't mean that the game ends. And that is the thing that seems that a lot of fucking designers, at least, I don't know, the managers or whoever in the fucking Frontier, or... Oh yeah, in general, Frontier, to be honest, don't seem to understand it. And then, and the thing is, okay, fine, if you want to put in a grind, alright, fine. Want to put in a grind, and that's, I don't know, your way of making a game, or your way to incentivize players to constantly play your game. Fine. At the very least, put in something that is worth the fucking grind. And as is for fleet carriers, as a matter of fact, you can't even justify that much. No one's gonna... Okay, and the stupidity continues, right? When you actually look at the actual rewards you would get for your massive grind, right? It's a fleet carrier that has commodity market through which you can essentially transfer credits from account to account. So that's gonna be used maybe once or twice with maybe 2 of your friends. That's about it. Okay. You can sell, you know, commodities if you're a miner. But because the game's own fucking tools, the gal map and all whatnot else, right? That thing doesn't show what each fleet carrier has how would you know that the fleet carrier that you're going to, or randomly, you know, found in a system, will have enough things that you want to buy, right?
Trial and error, my friend.
Of course, unless you really know that the person sitting there, right, already has enough cash, or that person has advertised that they have, you know, the, let's say, void opals on sale, right, for a relatively decent price. Unless you know that somehow, well, you won't really go there. And the game has literally no tools to tell anyone. And that's another fucking issue, right? So what's the point of having a commodity market on the fucking megaship, fleet carrier, right? If there's no way to actually get the information out of random people, or rather get to random people. If there was some sort of a way to, you know, promote through, I don't know, in-game ads, or, you know, some information table somewhere, fine. But again, it's left up to third-party tools or tool makers, essentially. And relying on third-party tools is just not only disgusting, it's just, it's not the way to make a game. No, if you need to rely on mods to fix your game, if you need to rely on fucking third-party tool makers to just, well, do what you can't do, or are unable to do, or unwilling, more importantly, to do.
So Bethesda.
Not only, that's actually Frontier in a nutshell as well. No, you have no business in making a fucking game, to be honest. So that is another thing, yeah, right? And worst of all, there's you know, okay, fine, you can sell ships, so you can provide ships and outfitting and whatnot else and other things, right? Okay. Everything except for commodity market is gonna have a tariff. So either A, you're gonna be lucky enough and find a fleet carrier that has no tariffs put on it, essentially a tax, or you're gonna find everyone else putting in a tax. So best case scenario, you'll find exactly the same things at the same price that you can find in normal stations. What's the point? What's the point in going on fleet carrier to buy anything if it all is priced the same? And that's the issue, sort of, with these fucking things in general. Well, what can I say? I don't know. If they actually had thought through properly the design of fleet carrier, that's the weirdest thing, though. You know, okay. A lot of people will say, "Oh, yeah, but you need to provide some sort of a alternative and, you know, solution or you know, something to, you know, to be valid critique and so on." So no. First things first, it's not my job to design the fucking game for them, right? Neither is your task to do so for them. So no. But from time to time,
He's a Yamiks.
right. I'll continue that on Soundwave. Thank you very much, dude. Seriously, appreciate it. Has anyone discovered what happened when you afterburner right into your own ship? Will it kill you? Fleet carrier essentially is a separate entity, right? Fleet carrier, you can consider fleet carrier as another account, right? A limited account, but it's another account essentially, and it has its own bank account, it has its own sort of rules, and basically it's just separate entity from your main account, right? So if you think it of as such a thing, right? Well, it will kill you, obviously. I think. Actually, that's a good question. I'll check that. But James, also, thank you very much for your little contribution there. Still get the screen. So, give it away. I'm gonna put it at a lower volume, otherwise, sorry for high volumes and shit. Right, so let's see. There we go. And can I... okay, this is interesting. So, I'm the owner of the fleet carrier, right? And I don't get warned if I sit on the landing pad. Huh. So I don't get that. Okay, well, let's give it another go. But anyways, yeah, so how would I fix fleet carriers, for example, right? Well, there are a few ways to do it, but let's say you want to make it actually useful and profitable, right? So let's say you want to make fleet carriers potentially profitable and have people come to your fleet carrier and buy stuff from it. Well, how about this? You have shipyard, you have outfitting, and you can buy, well, rather, throw out all the packages. You will never buy any package, and automatically on your fleet carrier, people will be able to buy the same stuff as a starport that you either docked in the last time, is in the system that you're in, or some other way. Basically have a template of select few things, maybe not all things. Well, maybe each fleet carrier comes with select amount of specific things, right? Let's say your fleet carrier comes with, you know, 10 units of, I don't know, ASP scouts, right? And you need to go and resupply them, or just simply, they're always there. You can buy however many you want. But you don't get the profits of it, right? Or if somebody buys a fleet, I don't know, buys something from your fleet carrier, right? You get basically just a percentage of that selling thing. Like, let's say you're a dealership, right? You're getting in stock from the seller or factory or whatnot else, and then as long as something is sold on your fleet carrier, you know, there's always infinite stock or whatnot else, but yeah, basically, as soon as something is sold, you get 5%. That's it. You get maybe 5% or even a fucking percent, right? You don't need to buy up any fucking stocks, you don't need to buy anything else. You can't dictate the prices, but as long as somebody buys something from you, for the same price as any other system, right? Or the system that you're in, you get basically just a percentage. And that would be a positive, if not a large, but still a decent sum of cash. And that would be at least encourageable for, getting, fleet carrier somewhere that it can sell stuff. And James, hey, okay, well, you take care if you're going around, or going off and whatnot else. We'll be waiting you probably, let's see, tomorrow? Probably tomorrow. Although technically I have tomorrow a little discussion with other folks, so we'll see whether or not that stream is gonna happen. But regardless, follow me on the Twitter. Probably we'll see some announcements there. Anyways, but yeah, that's the thing. Just take out the idea of dictating prices or dictating taxes on things. Basically, you have infinite stock of everything, or rather, even if you yourself buy something on the fleet carrier, you get back a percentage of the sold stuff. That's it. And every week, you basically get a paycheck. That would be a good weekly reward for logging in. How about that? Yep. As the owner of the fleet carrier, I'm not getting information or penalized for blocking a landing pad. So this is interesting. So yeah, everyone else will have the thing, but the fleet carrier doesn't, mind that you're blocking your own landing pad. So that's kind of nice. So at least they didn't, fuck up that much, so that's good. And shooting the fleet carrier, I haven't tried that, but don't care. So yeah, instead of just having that...
It will go aggro on you.
Oh, neat.
If you shoot your own fleet carrier, it will go aggro on you.
Oh, okay, fun times. Well, that kind of makes sense, though. That one, I grant, and that kind of makes sense. And to yet, yes, so, oh, anyways, I see the chats, yes, I try to answer as much as I can, and so on and so forth. So, do ask questions, and I'll try and answer and all that stuff, and blah, 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 But yeah, anyways, I don't know. literally just take out the upkeep cost and have a positive reinforcement that, you know, just as long as you have some sort of a stock within your mega ship or whatnot else, or, you know, just like a normal ship, you need to go back to a, I don't know, mega ship, fleet carrier restocking system or something like that. You know, you'll have stuff to sell. And you don't dictate the price. The wonderful thing would be just that you don't dictate the prices, but as long as you sell something on your fleet carrier, in the outfitting and shipyard wise, you get back some percentage out of that transaction. That'd be a great way to both have at least encourageable sort of a. Well, at least a reason for people to go to fleet carriers rather than a starport. If you know that a starport and a fleet carrier has exactly the same things on their board, well, some people would, you know, choose to go to a fleet carrier instead of a starport, right? If the prices are the same, just the difference is that a percentage of that transaction just goes to fleet carrier's owner. Why not? That'd be a positive thing. But now instead of that, we have fucking upkeep, and here we go, and need to buy fucking stock and shit. It's a mess. I don't know. It's just a mess, and I'm rambling at this point. Oh well. Well, but yeah. Actually, as a matter of fact, right. Just to recap a few things, I guess. From the stream, let me just check a couple messages. Okay, seems okay. I don't know. I mean, I wish I don't know. Do I even wish? I don't know if it. Right now, I had an idea that just like everyone, like everyone right now seems to be inviting the community managers to do a quote-unquote interview. I could do one. But I'm thinking, oh, you know me. I mean,
that doesn't bode well.
yeah, it's as much as I'd like to do that. First of all, I know that community managers unfortunately won't really have much of an answer for my type of questions oftentimes. But hey, I don't know. I actually had a better idea for that sort of a thing, and we'll see whether or not I can actually organize something. But I'll contact them and see. Maybe we can get something done. But when it comes down to fleet carriers, I'd much rather talk with a game designer, game director, producer maybe, rather than a community manager. But
I guess those guys are under heavy NDAs.
Well, everyone in the company is under NDA. Like, well, that makes sense, right? Community managers too, right? It's just that would they be fitting for that's the session, and whether or not they would have actually time, because as much as we think that maybe developers have the time for it, well, I mean, they are developing things and making and working as well, we assume at least. So I don't know. Well, regardless, I'll see if I get something. I don't know, maybe it'd be interesting, certainly. Though there is a different thing though that I do want to poke them about, but no, well, we'll see. We'll see in a few weeks probably, and we'll see how this beta ends and everything else. Well, regardless, right. So about the fleet carriers, right? So those that missed the start of the stream, essentially. Well, anyways, it doesn't matter if I show it on the screen or not, but I did calculate, as a matter of fact, and well, I did calculate one thing. Now, those that already listened, well, basically this will be a repeat, but regardless, decommissioning. So fleet carriers have decommissioning that is depreciative. Essentially, the longer you've had the fleet carrier in your possession or under your control, the less cash you get back. And there's another thing, that you lose extra more cash the further you are from a place that sells fleet carriers. So not only you lose money from the more time you spend or the more time you've had it, but also the further it is from the place that sells fleet carriers. And now that number we did not know. My estimate, after a little bit of calculations here and there, was that apparently for every light year, you lose also 1 million credits. So not only, you know, I can actually show you, and Dunkel, right, I'm gonna be streaming for a few more minutes, basically. It's gonna be a 2-hour stream today, so entertain folks for a little bit. Right, give me a moment. So let's say I wanted to decommission this fleet carrier, right? So I remember I've had this fleet carrier for a few days, basically, during the beta. So that means, first of all, let me show you. Actually, yeah, I should have just gone. Anyway, so decommissioning, right? So first things first is, right, so depreciation here. So for, depending on how long you had it, right, the less money you get. So I had it for a couple of days, not 2 weeks. So that's, I get 80% back, which is already disgusting, but let's carry on. So 80% of the 5 billion that I've spent on it means I get back 4 billion, basically. Okay. Now let's look at my fleet carrier's selling price in actuality. Let's say I want to decommission it, and I get back not 4 billion, I get 3.8 billion. Well, the other clause in selling or decommissioning a fleet carrier was that the further you are from the point that sells fleet carriers, the less cash you get. And so, yeah, as I calculated, it was per light year, you lose 1 million. And as a matter of fact, you can pretty much tell that I'm about 200 light years away from the nearest point that sells fleet carriers. As you can see, the closest one here is Disso. And that's about 209.9 light years away. Give or take, that's about 1 million per light year. So let's say, again, I'm not sure if there is a cap, because the player handbook doesn't tell you anything. Because the game itself doesn't tell you anything about its functions or things that it does. All it says is the value is further reduced by the carrier's distance from the nearest carrier construction dock. So yeah, it tells you jack shit about the, you know, what are the, you know, values. How far can you go before you lose all of it? And as a matter of fact, as I showed you and told you, so yeah, the further you go, the more you lose. And obviously, they didn't implement that. I assume they didn't implement that you go into negative, that you actually have to pay them to sell the fucking thing. No, I think it's gonna be basically just going to 0 and staying at 0, not further. So yeah, you go about 5,000 light years away. As a matter of fact, 5,000 light years is one of the distances that you are required to go to start unlocking one of the engineers. I think it was the Palin, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, of course. So yeah, 5,000 light years, and all the investment is gone. As a matter of fact, hey, if you invested into all the upgrades, right, and so on and so forth, and they also have their own prices when you sell them, which are, as a matter of fact, usually half. Actually, no, it was half. You buy a service and then sell a service, unlike a module on a ship, where you lose no money. A service on a fleet carrier loses half its value once you sell it. That's a dick move already, but well, hey. Who cares, right? But in any case, let's say if I go 5,000 light years, that's, let's see. 5,000 light years is not even out, well, technically it would be outside of the region that I am in if I went this way, but let's say I want to go to the center of the galaxy. Can I make it outside of this region before I basically would lose all the fleet carrier's value. Yes, as a matter of fact, it would be true. 7,000 light years. And I'm not at the edge. I'm not really at the edge of the sector itself. And I already lost all the value. Of course, there is one selling point on Colonia, so technically the further you go and closer to you go to Colonia, the more value you get back, kinda? Or rather, not get back, rather, at least you get something back, or don't lose all of it. But regardless, it's just, you don't even make out of the fucking sector, and that's it, your fleet carrier, if you suddenly decide, or, don't play the game, and it goes into decommissioning, forcibly, that's it, bye-bye. All the prices, gone. Enjoy! Or rather, there was a perfect image that, I used in my video that essentially encapsulates what, Frontier, developers of Elite are thinking of you. The middle finger essentially is just slowly rising. It's just telling you.
Imagine this happening to you while you're selected in a trench racing Eagle. And you're out there in the black. And the last ship you had in use was an Eagle you used for a trench run. And then you docked at the carrier and something happened and you come back and your carrier's gone. All your ships have been transferred somewhere.
To the nearest station. To the nearest station with outfitting. If you have stored any ships in your mega ship, fleet carrier. So that's fun. And yeah, by the way, the funniest thing is, once the fleet carrier is decommissioned, all the stored things, yours, your friends, whatever, right? Every stored item on it, except for commodities, I think it was, gets sent to the nearest station. Everything else gets sold off. And the game tells you to go fuck yourself. How lovely! Don't you just love it when the game wants you to play? It's great. Yeah, decommissioning is amazing. And I really don't know what to say. Decommissioning is just another, it is literally a roadblock into, convincing you to go back to basically being a fucking slave, an imperial slave for whatever reason. Just grinding the game or just logging in the game and whatnot. Just fucking hell, man. But hey, I'm, cynic. I look at these things in a more cynical way. And more often than not, guess what? I'm true. Well, at least I'm right. There we go.
I would just like to close on a positive quality of life note. So it's still a little bit bugged, but they added a small change to the game, which I think is really nice. The travel time countdown now accounts for acceleration and deceleration. It sometimes goes on the fritz if the path goes through some deep gravity wells, but the counter now shows you the actual time to target. So it's no longer the 7-second rule, it's the about 1 minute rule. So you throttle back to 75% at 1 minute. And from there, it still shows you the actual time to target. I think this is nice. It's still a little bit bugged. It will require players to adjust mentally, but I think it's a nice quality of life update.
I don't know. Whatever. It's still 75% sort of a thing, so I guess as long as the feature works, as long as the Super Cruise is not completely borked, I guess I'm fine. But
well, it trolled Exegius 2 times really hard.
Oh yeah, for me as well, man. For me as well. Though I usually use percentile thrusts anyways, so yeah, I'm okay. So yeah, and Soundwave, yes, your message there was a wonderful one, as a matter of fact. And Soundwave says, so maybe a finger is what the developers need right now. They ruined the great anticipation for fleet carriers. Right, I and Pilot and a few other well, a few others of right now watching and so on and so forth probably also didn't really care much for fleet carriers, since probably we wouldn't, afford it. I really was just more interested to just get it to make a video, and that's about it. As a matter of fact, I made multiple versions of a video about that. But yeah, there will be a review, worry not. Not sure if I'm going to be releasing it on the launch or before it, because at this point, I don't know. I'll think about it right now. I can't really give you a conclusive answer whether or not I'm going to release quote-unquote review for it before it actually properly launches, but regardless, anyways. Right, what was I on about? Oh, gods. Oh, gods. Oh, no, I forgot what I was talking about. That's what you get when you just have absolutely no focus in the day. Well, anyways, yeah, so fleet carriers, just... Fuck. It's just encapsulated in one word, just fuck. Oh, man. It's a mess. It's, yeah, it's just pure and simple mess. But oh well. Well, yeah, let's see. The date is not yet known. Oh, right, so those that are interested, right, there will be another beta coming in May. That will be on all platforms, as a matter of fact. So, hey, console peasants, come and enjoy beta as well, and, all that. Let's see what else we got. Yes, and of course, the release itself is planned, in the month. There's no particular date or whatnot else, but it's going to be on June. So, yeah, when I heard, or rather when I read, when, they announced the whole thing about the June, I was thinking, oh, so they're basically going to release it at the day of LaveCon or something. And, oh, speaking of that, as a matter of fact, probably not going to be traveling to UK this year or anywhere. As the world is what it is, right? So, yeah, it's unfortunate because LaveCon was, one of the highlights sort of each year, and would have been pretty interesting to sort of at least meet face to face with a few devs at least again and question them in some way or another. That'd be always nice, but oh well. But there we go. We got, well, not much going on. Toot, you shouldn't even leave the apartment. Yeah, I know. Potato ain't gonna buy itself, you see. Is Potato need to buy? Yes. Is go to shop that day? Yes. So, but no, as a matter of fact, Latvia is doing just fine and dandy these days, kind of, well. At least we have the least amount of cases from all the Baltic states, and in general, we still don't... I don't think, actually, how many cases do we have? Let me check. Oh, actually, it hasn't improved... Oh, hasn't... Not improved, but horrifically gone off the scales as much anyways. So, yeah, Latvia is 650 or so. So it's not too bad. Well, we have about 2 million citizens anyway, so... actually, no. We have less than 2 million, but usually floats around the 2 million mark anyways. So yeah, Latvia is doing surprisingly well. So that's kind of nice. On that positive note, I suppose, and all the nonsense ramblings of the mad Latvian and whatnot else, I guess I'll put a pin in for today and say big thanks to the pilot who jumped in, of course, General Ghost for his amazing Tamagotchi and everything else pictures. There should be a link actually somewhere around in the chats. Oh god, it was long ago, but regardless, and Dotton for coming along as well, for just chatting and so on. So hopefully you're all doing fine and dandy. Take care of yourselves. I personally expect developers to release some, hopefully, changes and news about fleet carriers and so on and so forth this week at the latest of you know, Thursday. Yeah, I'd say Thursday would be, you know, sort of a typical day when they release things, but who knows. But yeah, apparently they will be changing a couple of things, and I dread to think of how bad the changes will be, or how many people will accept the changes, because we shouldn't accept half measures. Yeah, if you leave today with one idea in your mind, don't accept half measures. Upkeep must fully go. Pure and simple. Upkeep must fully go, and decommissioning should be a static number. Pure and simple. Otherwise, it's scummy. Yeah. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, stay inside, you know, stay safe, and, well, I don't know. If you want to chat further, you know, and text with folks and so on and so forth, I mean, join the Discords. You know, post some funny pictures about fleet carriers. Who knows? I might actually use them in a video maybe one day, if they are good enough, and then fitting for the script I make. But regardless, that's beside the point. And yes, I see that ass, or of ass. No, not ass. Of Diamondback. There we go. DBX. Yes. Anyways. Thanks for watching, folks, and yeah, as I said, take care, and I'll probably stream tomorrow? Well, we'll see. Regardless, I'll definitely stream on Friday, and of course, Space Race News for Saturday. As a matter of fact, Saturday I might actually do a Stellaris stream, because, you know, an interesting game. Anyways, take care, and I'll see you around.